So let's get into common causes of stalls, common causes of weight rebound, weight regain, and I guess it should be said that all of this is within the confines of a low carb diet. So people can be on a low carb diet and still stall, and still have weight rebound. But obviously, there's other factors at play. So let's go with what is the most common one that you're seeing.
Okay. Before I even answer that, I just want to make it clear to people that, what is a stall? If you've gone a week or two with no weight loss, that's not a stall. Stalls are not measured in days. They're measured in several weeks and sometimes months. And it's not just your scale weight, because it's really not uncommon for people's weight to stay the same, but they're getting smaller. And for whatever, it could be shifts in water, it could be shifts in muscle versus body fat. So even if your scale weight is staying the same, if your measurements are getting smaller, if your clothing is getting looser, you're not stalled. So you can't go solely by the scale. And you also kind of have to remember that weight loss is not this magical linear process downward. It's totally normal, totally fine to have little blips up and down along the way. You lose a little bit, you stay the same for a couple of days or weeks, you lose a little bit, maybe you gain a pound or two, you stay the same, you lose. It's a bumpy, squiggly line. I have a diagram of this in the book. It's, that if you get on the scale every day, you'll make yourself crazy over these daily fluctuations. As long as over time that trend is downward, then it's fine. So anyway, the answer to getting back to your question, I think by far the most common reason for stalls on low carb keto is what we call carb creep. People are just eating, they're eating way, way less carbohydrate than they were before, and way less carbohydrate than most people out there. But in the context of low carb keto, they're eating just a little too much carbohydrate for it to be working the way it needs to.
Okay. So what are common things that people are adding to their diet that are causing that?
So it really depends. It's never like people are eating, bread and pancakes and pasta. They know that stuff's off limits. It tends to be some of the keto treats. Right. A lot of people can get into trouble with different kinds of sugar alcohols. Some people like the, erythritol, xylitol, mannitol. Some people have no problem with these. Some people just, it does affect their blood sugar and insulin a little bit more than somebody else's. So it tends to be kind of those packaged, the keto cookies, the keto bars and stuff like that. It could also be for some people just too many seemingly benign things like vegetables and nuts and stuff. Those add up. And right. Even though they're very, very low carb, if you're eating too many of them, too much of them, then your total carbohydrate load for the day could be higher than you realize. But I would say mostly it's the packaged stuff that's marketed as keto because it has a really low net carb count, because they add a lot of fiber, they add a lot of sugar alcohols. And so some people, if you count the net carbs, they subtract all that. But for some people, that's not a good way to go. And so their total carb load for the day is just a lot higher than they think it is.